One Consciousness Business Circle is a journey that is designed for business people. It is designed for entrepreneurs, it's designed for established entrepreneurs, and it's designed for people who want to become entrepreneurs. It's also a program where all the professionals come. The presidents, the vice presidents, the CEOs, the general managers, marketing, sales heads, all of them, the entire ecosystem that's involved in creating wealth and is involved in the business world. This program is designed for them. So, people today in the business world are all constantly working from planning, from strategizing, because this is what you're taught in schools, in colleges, in books, that you need to constantly plan and strategize your success. That's good. Planning and strategizing is definitely needed. But we have completely forgotten to come from a beautiful inner state. We have completely forgotten to operate from a state that is very powerful, a state that knows, that's fearless. So there is no trust today even in businesses, amongst business partners, business cooperation. Of course, there are a few leaders who are great leaders who run on trust and who run from a transformed state. But there are many, many people in the world who have absolutely no trust, and in fact, they have no vision at all. It's about having a very short vision, which is trying to find fault every day and living in a state of fear and insecurity. What's going to happen? And when you are in that state, you're obviously going to break the process of progress. You're obviously going to face failure much faster than you expected. So true cooperation and partnership can only come from a transformed state. You have to function from a different level of consciousness. When you can function from that level of consciousness, then it is true partnership, and that's what we teach people here. It's a journey that's focused on moving people from a limited state of mind to an expanded state of mind. It's a journey where people learn to operate from a powerful state of consciousness rather than a state where they're driven by fear, anger, guilt, and insecurities. So it's a powerful journey of awakening to these various aspects of consciousness. If you look at the business world today, the entrepreneurs who are established and the entrepreneurs who want to become established entrepreneurs or professionals, they are functioning from the state of fear or anger or insecurity. They really are not functioning from a place of vision. Some of them do have a vision and purpose, but if you start looking at the truth beneath the surface, you will start seeing that they're driven by comparison and they're driven by constantly what others are thinking of them. So in a sense, they're driven by a feeling of lack, which means whatever they achieve, they're not happy with it. Whatever they're doing, they're not happy with it. They want something better. When I say they want something better, they want to feel better about themselves. Even if they have done something extraordinary, that feeling of satisfaction is there only for a few moments and then it disappears. Because they are coming from this limited space where it's more about them rather than actually what they are doing and why they're doing what they're doing. One Consciousness Business Circle is about transforming the way wealth is created, the way wealth is nurtured, and the way the wealth is shared. Everything that you create has a much larger purpose, and you come to realize that purpose. That's a very important thing in one's life, that you need to realize the purpose for what you're creating your wealth. So it's a very powerful journey because you're coming from a transformed state of consciousness. Every aspect of your work, every aspect of the way you're creating wealth completely transforms. it's enjoyable, it's joyful, and you are actually enjoying the entire process of creating wealth. Every moment of it is nothing but happiness. So it's an amazing journey. You have to understand that entire understanding of spirituality is wrong. So the old understanding of spirituality is you have to renounce everything in life. A spiritual person does not have the vision, does not have the passion to go make money. All this is just wrong understanding. Today, spirituality is about living in the world. It's about being in the thick of the world, doing what you're doing, but coming from a transformed state, coming from a transformed state of consciousness. It's not about saying, I don't want cars, I don't want branded stuff, I don't want to go eat in expensive restaurants, I don't want to go to 5-star hotels. Let me become very simple, very austere. Let me go and live a life which is away from all this mundane world. That is a very old way of understanding what spirituality is. Today's spirituality is not that. And that's again changing your external world. We are not talking about changing your external world. We are talking about transforming your inner world. So if you can transform your inner world, and if you're in the midst of what you're doing, in the thick of the world, or you are in Himalayas by yourself, wherever you are, you have to have a transformed inner world. If you can have the transformed inner world, then you are spiritual. Then you are a beautiful human being. Then you are really contributing back to this world from a beautiful place. So these journeys of 3 attainments, 3 very important attainments. In the first attainment, you are awakened to becoming a heart-centric entrepreneur, which means in this journey you are actually awakened to connection, you are awakened to love. You become a more connected entrepreneur. You know, most of the organizations today are disconnected. The leader is not connected with the people below are not connected with the people below them. The entire organization is a very disconnected organization. And in that disconnection, there is only fear, there's only jealousy, there's only comparison. And nobody's really working for the organization for its purpose, but are rather working for making sure that they can survive every month, they can get their paycheck and be happy. But if we can change that atmosphere to one that of connection, to one that of being one family and really working from a space of love, then that organization will be a very powerful organization in whatever it does. And as an entrepreneur, you need to be in that space. As a professional, you need to be in that space so that there is magic around your work, there's fulfillment around your work, and every second you're actually enjoying your work. So in the first attainment, you are awakening to becoming a heart-centric entrepreneur. In the second attainment, you are becoming a fearless entrepreneur. So if you see the people in the business world today, they're all driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of creating wealth, fear of not able to create wealth, fear whether my plans will become successful or not, fear of what will my wife think, what will my husband think, what will my friends think. There is this constant fear that, okay, when I'm 50 years old, 60 years old, will I be looked upon as an unsuccessful person? What will I be seen as? What will become to my life? How will my life be when I'm older? And you have targets, you have desires, and will these desires be fulfilled? Will I have 3 cars? Will I have a Benz? Will I have a BMW? You're constantly driven by fear. Now, when you are in that state of fear, your entire journey of making wealth and doing business is a very bad experience. You actually are destroying yourself. We see people first, they're completely destroying the relationships around them. They have no time for anyone, nor for themselves. They're busy because they're so much driven by fear. Their health is getting destroyed. Their intellect is getting destroyed. Their creativity is getting destroyed. Their decision-making skills are getting destroyed. Everything is slowly becoming lesser and lesser. It's becoming worse and worse. So if you are going to be an entrepreneur who is driven by fear, then that's not good for you and not good for the organization at all. So in this journey, in the second attainment, you actually learn to become completely free of fear. you learn to become a fearless entrepreneur. That means you are in this powerful state where any challenge that's present in front of you, you are able to find a solution for that without fear. And you also have this immense time for every aspect of life, for your family, for your friends, for yourself. There is a lot of time. There is a sense of peace and calm in the absence of fear, and you're actually enjoying what you're doing. And when you are able to be an entrepreneur from that state, magic happens to you, synchronicities happen to you, and you find solutions for all the problems. It's like a beautiful flow. Life becomes a beautiful flow. The third attainment is you are becoming a dynamic entrepreneur. So what do we mean by you becoming a dynamic entrepreneur is that your consciousness is awakened to the consciousness, the nature of consciousness that's present around you. So if you take the nature of consciousness that's present in this world and in this universe, that nature is, it's dynamic, which means as we are speaking today, the universe is expanding. Every second there is constant life evolving. There is nothing static, there is nothing stagnant. Everything is evolving, everything is growing. The universe is actually an expanding universe. So this consciousness that's present, it's full of life, and it's in a state of expansion, and there's a lot of dynamism that's happening in it. Now when you are not aligned to that nature of consciousness, and when you are a very stagnant human being, which means you are worried about problems constantly, you are worried about the same problem over and over again, you are stuck in anger, you are stuck in insecurity, then you are actually not moving forward, you are actually moving in circles. So as an entrepreneur, you are in the same place where you are. There is no creativity, there is no intelligence, there is nothing. For a successful entrepreneur, you should have movement forwards. You should have this tremendous power to constantly be adaptable to change, to challenges that are coming up in your life, and to find solutions for the challenges and move forward, not be stuck in one place. And unfortunately, when you get stuck in one place, you actually move backwards. So when your consciousness awakens to the dynamic aspect of the nature of consciousness that's present around you, when you awaken to that, you are now flowing with this nature of consciousness. And when you're flowing with that nature, there is a tremendous power that flows through you. There is a tremendous amount of intelligence that flows through every decision you make, every action you do. Everything you do has a tremendous sense of power, intelligence, and purpose to it. And hence, even if you wanted to make $1 million and you're working from this state, you are actually ending up making much, much more, because you have the power of consciousness driving every action. So from this state, you move to becoming an enlightened entrepreneur. And in this attainment, you are actually realizing that you are the one. You are realizing that this vast consciousness that's present in this world and this entire universe, you are no different from it. It is just that this consciousness is appearing in different forms. It's appearing as the trees, it's appearing as me, you, it's appearing as the challenges, it's appearing as the solutions, it's appearing as the solar system, the water, the air, everything. We are that one. And when you are able to live from that state and function from that state as an entrepreneur, you have conquered all forms of suffering. You have conquered all forms of suffering that's within you. You have conquered fear, you have conquered anger, you have conquered division, you have conquered separation. You have conquered everything. When you are an enlightened entrepreneur, you are one with everything, one with everyone around you, one with your business, one with the wealth you're creating, one with your health, one with your relationships. You are one with everything. You're present to everything, and in that presence comes a tremendous amount of intelligence. In that presence comes a tremendous amount of silence and calm within you, that nothing can impact you, nothing can affect you. However big the challenge is, however big the problem is, it looks like a tiny ant. Right now, problems look like a big elephant because we are totally confused. We are totally lost. But when you become an enlightened entrepreneur, you are totally awakened. You are present to everything. You're conquered your inner world and you're conquering the external world. And making money, being a leader, starting businesses, being a husband, being a wife, everything becomes super easy. There is no struggle in anything. There is no effort in anything. And as life becomes super easy, you start to really live life. You start to enjoy every second of your life. And as you're just living and as you're enjoying everything, your mere presence in your business world will create wealth for you. A tremendous amount of wealth is created. The number of problems that come to you will be reduced by 70-80% because you are in a state which basically dissolves problems. You are in a state where the opportunity for problems to arise itself does not happen. So you are on a fast track. You are like a rocket that's escaping gravity and moving into space and is actually moving towards its destination in the solar system. We have to change the way we are making money, we are growing in money, and the way we are going to spend our money. It has to come from a transformed state of consciousness. Wealth needs a purpose, and at the end of the day, this entire world today functions on wealth. Today functions on businesses, be it the politicians, be it the people who are in social work, any spectrum of life. We need money to grow what we are doing. We need money to fulfill our vision. We need money for practical and functional reasons. So that's going to be there always. It has always existed in some form or the other. Today, I think the world is going through massive economic crisis. There's a massive instability amongst the rich and the poor. The gap is very wide. If you look at today's world, there are over 3.5 billion people who earn less than $2 a day, and they're all in the poverty line. So there is a massive problem in front of us, and we will have to change that problem. And I think business people have a major role to play. So we are working with lots of them because if we can change the business culture, if we can change the business environment, if we can change the business leaders, I think the impact will be massive. We can really impact lots of people. So that's why we're working very closely with them. We want them to become enlightened entrepreneurs where they're totally present to what they're doing, where they've conquered every aspect of their inner world, their fears, their anger, their insecurities, their confusions, their lack of vision, lack of purpose, and are actually living in a powerful state of connection, vision, purpose, total meaningfulness, total purposefulness, and are actually making a difference to one's life, are actually making a difference to everybody around them, and are creating wealth from a very different space. And they also know why exactly they need this wealth and what they are going to do with this wealth. So once you have all the answers for all these questions, you've conquered life, you've conquered everything. It's like the Buddha driving the Benz. So it's the coming together of the Buddha, the state of the Buddha, and the external world. If you say achievement is driving a Benz, then it's Buddha driving the Benz. So that's the one consciousness business circle journey.